Hey guys, Tyler Christian with Combative Solutions. Today we're going to talk about your everyday carry. One of the questions that I get asked quite a bit is what firearm I carry, what knives I carry, how many guns I carry, whatever the case is. It's a good question to ask people that are professionals in the industry. So you go and ask a law enforcement officer or somebody in the military, hey, what do you carry? Why do you carry it? Maybe it's a good conversation. Sometimes the downfall is my mission is not your mission. So if you're a mom of 3 kids, you go to work every day, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, you just take care of your kids, and you come to me and say, hey, what do you carry? Well, I carry a Glock 19 with a light and this and this and this, and I got a secondary gun, I got fixed blades, and that ain't your mission, right? My mission as a law enforcement officer, and currently the assignment that I'm working in, is to go out and hunt down violent felons. Well, you chasing around Johnny all day long, my hope is he's not a violent felon. So me carrying this gear and this setup, that's not your mission, right? So you got to think about and put it in context, your life compared to my life. The guns I carry, the knives I carry, how I carry them are very conducive to the environment that I operate within. That might not be yours. So just because Navy SEAL so-and-so and Delta Force this and that says I carry a 16-inch rifle and I have this and this, well, you're not out doing direct action hits on high-value ISIS targets, right? So you shouldn't be walking around your city with a rifle slung and a plate carrier. That's not how you operate. But just real quick, I'm going to show you a few things that I carry and why I carry them. So 9 times out of 10 in my concealed capacity, or when I'm just off duty and I'm out with my kids, usually what I'm carrying is a Glock 19. All of my guns are unloaded right now, so a Glock 19 holds 15 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. So I have 16 rounds right away, and 9 times out of 10 I'll carry it in an appendix carry position. I have a Raven concealment holster, and one thing that I'll talk about real quick in regards to holsters is I see a lot of people say, hey, check out this holster, it's super concealable and it cost me $10. Well, it's an Uncle Mike's, just a very thin sometimes, or a soft holster, and not very easy to draw from, right? It might be very concealable because the grip of the firearm now is so low inside of your pant line that the bad guy can't see it. The problem is bad guy can't see it, but you can't draw it. So you have a gun on you, yet if you were to be attacked or forced to draw your firearm, there's no way that you're ever going to get to it because that grip is so low inside of your pant line that you're way behind the power curve. So Raven concealment holster in the appendix carry. If I have a jacket on or something, it allows me to draw from a seated position. So if I'm inside a vehicle and bad guy comes up, I can easily draw and engage from there. If I'm in a restaurant sitting down, I can easily draw from my seated position and engage from there. I don't have to lean over to try to get to my gun. And then I always carry spare magazines. So the nice thing about Glocks and a lot of the modern striker fire weapons is if I have a mid-size gun or a small frame gun, I can carry a full-size magazine, and now I have another 17 rounds. If I carry on my hip, it's because it's mission dependent. So I have a light now on my gun. So if I'm at work and I'm operating in a nighttime environment, or I think I'm going to go into a position or into an environment where I may have gone from the outside to the inside of a residence and I need a light, well then I have to carry a hip side holster. So for me, same thing, it's a Raven concealment holster that I carry on the outside of my belt line, and it allows me to carry and operate with a light. I just got a new appendix carry holster that allows me to carry a light, so now I don't have to worry about switching lights or holsters back and forth depending on the mission for that day. Another thing that I'll do is if I'm now in full kit, I'll wear a high ride thigh holster that allows me to carry a light on my pistol. But again, mom with 3 kids, that's not you. So don't worry about some of the types of gear and where professionals carry it. You need to worry about and think about what it is that you do on the daily, and make sure that your gear and your equipment fits within your daily life. Another thing I'll talk about real quick is what kind of knives I carry. So Right here I have a Black Hawk Crucible 2 knife. The nice thing about this thing is it's not the most expensive knife out there. A lot of times I'll hear people say, well, I need a cold steel this or a Benchmade that or a whatever. And they're spending somewhere between $200 and $300 on a knife because it's the best steel available and it holds the sharpest edge. That's fine, I guess, for those guys, but maybe I'm on a budget. I've been to about 20 homicides at this point, and most of the homicides I've been to have been knife killings, and the knives used in those homicides have been a kitchen blade, a 3-inch cheap Smith & Wesson blade, and one stab to the heart, and the victim was dead within about a couple of minutes. So sometimes people put a lot of emphasis on the type of blade that they carry and how much it costs and all that other stuff. The reality is the difference between that $300 knife and the $10 kitchen knife was simply the fact that the person that had that $10 kitchen knife was willing to use it. So for me, again, it's just a nice folder. It's got a fairly decent point on it. I know if I needed to, I can penetrate clothing or skin if I had to. Again, the blade and the steel on this is not the most expensive thing in the world, so it doesn't hold a very sharp edge for too long. But again, it doesn't really matter too much, right? 9 times out of 10, it's, or 999 times out of 1,000, it's really just a tool. It's a tool to cut something, to cut maybe something off your clothing or a rope or whatever, right? If I felt that I was going into an environment where I needed a fixed blade, or I thought maybe that the environment was a little bit more dangerous, I'm only going to carry a fixed blade. So in this case, I have a Benchmade dagger. I think it's called the SOCP, S-O-C-P. And the nice thing about this is under duress, so in the middle of a fight, I don't have to try to search for my folder, pull it out, and then engage the blade, right? A fixed blade allows me to just pull it out and it's already ready to go. So one thing we talk about in some of our combative courses is nonviolent posture. So if I had to, I could take a nonviolent posture, a position, and I can conceal a weapon. So right now it's a knife, but maybe it was a pen, maybe it was a Kubotan, maybe it was something else that was small that I was able to grab and kind of hide underneath my arm real quick so that the suspect or the bad guy doesn't see it. But again, we start talking about that level of violence and that level of covertness. Mom of 3, how often are you going to need a fixed blade knife to hide underneath your arm in a dangerous environment versus maybe some OC or some pepper spray, maybe just a Kubotan, maybe how you carry your keys. Those are things to talk about. Outside of that, one thing that I carry while I'm off duty quite a bit is I always have like a workout gun or a running gun, and for me it's just a Glock 43 that is nice and light. It's a 9mm, carries 6 round plus 1, or a Smith & Wesson 38. So this is a 340 PD. It's super light. I have 5 rounds in the gun. I can throw it in a concealable holster inside of my pants just with a drawstring. I could draw it tight, make a nice little tight bow, a knot in my shorts, and now I can go run for extended periods of time, and I have something I can carry with me. So all that to say, here's kind of basically what I carry, why I carry it, but you might be in a different scenario or a different position than me. So if you're not working the same job, or you're not out attacking ISIS members, then don't think that you have to have a $3,000 custom Nighthawk gun, and that's going to allow you to kill a bad guy any quicker than it is a $400 pistol that works every single time you pull the trigger. Be cognizant of what is out there, put some thought into it, and again, sometimes the cheapest holster or the cheapest gun is not the best, but neither is that $3,000 pistol. Somewhere between, like I said, maybe $400 to $600 on the gun is about all I would spend for the most part. You want to start getting into RMRs and lasers and all this other stuff. It's within context. So show some respectful irreverence, right? Just because, again, that guy was Delta doesn't mean that your mission is the same mission as Delta, right? Your mission is just sometimes getting throughout the day with your family, your wife, your kids, your whatever, and how you carry a gun, what kind of gun you carry might not be the same context. Don't think that you're going to be any more lethal, any more dangerous than that guy is, because you're not carrying what that guy carries, right? So just some things to think about. Here's basically kind of what I carry. Again, if you guys have any questions about the video, you guys have any thoughts that you want to add, go ahead and give us a share on your Facebook feed, give us a like, and if you have any other questions, put them in the comments below and we'll try to address them.